This is my book review for the book Between Heaven and Ground Zero. I received this book from a friend. It was not a book that I had ever heard of before or would normally pick up and read. But because I had gotten it as a gift, I decided I was going to read it. I was very pleasantly surprised. A series that I was reading by Karen Kingsbury has focused a lot on the events of September 11th. While the characters themselves were not actually involved, there were a lot of family and friends that had been hurt or had passed away in the terrorist attacks. So when I saw this book, I figured, that this book would be very similar to those books, would kind of, give some facts, but be a fictional story about what had happened those days. It didn't take me long when reading this book to find out that this book was a little bit different than the fiction books that I had been reading. While those did contain true facts, it was not a true story of the experience that one person went through. This book explains in great detail what Leslie went through. It talks about the morning that she went to work on September 11th, and it talks about the terrorist attack. She was in the building as it started to collapse, and she had to try to get out. And it doesn't just talk about that day when the Twin Towers came crumbling down, but it also talks about how she handled such a traumatic event in her life. She dealt a lot with post-traumatic stress disorder and other effects from the terrorist attacks. It was a long process for her to get some healing and really recover from what had happened that day. So this book, as I said, was not just a made-up story with a couple of true facts in it, but this was a real example of what one person went through. It was amazing to read her details and see the story through her eyes and experience it that way. It was definitely a powerful book, and I would recommend it to anyone.